So, what if the key to changing your entire life wasn't about changing your job or where you live, but about changing just one thing, your own mind? It's a really powerful idea, and that's exactly what we're going to dig into right now. The practical steps to actually do it.
This really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? Most of our pain, our stress, our suffering, it doesn't actually come from what happens to us. It comes from how we react to what happens. And that reaction, well, that's the one thing we can learn to control.
So here's the game plan. We're breaking this down into 3 parts. First, we're going to build an emotional first aid kit for those moments you need help right now. Then, we'll get into the long-term work of rewiring your brain. And finally, we'll talk about the daily habits that build a rock-solid foundation of calm.
Okay, let's dive into part 1, in-the-moment tools. I want you to think of these as your go-to emergency kit. This is for when emotions are running high and you need to get back in the driver's seat, and you need to do it fast.
Our very first tool, it all comes down to a single number. 5. That's it. Just 5 seconds. I know, you're probably thinking, what on earth can you do in 5 seconds that would change anything? Well, turns out, a lot. All you have to do is pause. That's the secret weapon, a simple 5-second pause. See, that tiny little gap is just enough time to stop that knee-jerk emotional reaction and give your logical, rational brain a chance to catch up and say, hey, wait a minute. Okay, this one sounds almost too simple, but the science on this is incredible. When you're feeling totally overwhelmed, just stop and name the emotion. Literally say to yourself, okay, this is anger, or I am feeling anxiety right now. The act of putting a label on it actually dials down its intensity in your brain. It's like you're taming it just by naming it.
You know, your breath is basically the remote control for your nervous system. So if you want to control your emotions, you got to start with your breath. Try this. Breathe in for a count of 4, hold it for 7, and then a really long, slow exhale for 8. That long exhale is the magic trick. It tells your body's alarm system that it's okay, you're safe, you can calm down.
Ever have one of those moments where your mind is just spinning in circles? You can actually use your body to break that loop. Grab an ice cube or touch a cold window. Look around the room and name 5 things you can see. Or just get up and walk around. These physical actions yank you out of your head and plant you right back in the present moment, which is exactly what you need. All right, so now that we've got our first aid kit, let's move on to part 2. This is where we go beyond just reacting in the moment and start doing the long-term work, proactively rewiring our brain's default settings so we're stronger from the get-go. Now, this is a huge one. A lot of people think you have to force yourself to go from negative thinking straight to positive thinking. But that can feel fake and honestly kind of impossible sometimes. The real trick? Just aim for neutral. Shifting from I can't do this to let me try one small step. That simple change takes all the pressure off and makes it possible to move forward. Here is a question that is an absolute lifesaver for anyone who overthinks. Before you let something consume you, just stop and ask yourself this. Will this even matter in 2 months? Seriously, if the answer is no, then don't give it more than 2 minutes of your worry today. It's a total game changer.
Think about all the energy we waste stressing about things we have zero control over. You know, the weather, the economy, what other people think. That's your circle of concern. The secret to peace is to pull all of that wasted energy back and pour it into your circle of control. The only 3 things you ever truly own: your actions, your response, and your mindset.
Now this isn't just a feel-good phrase. It's a command you're giving to your subconscious mind. When you repeat something like this over and over, you're not just wishing it were true. You are literally carving out new neural pathways in your brain, training it, until this belief becomes your automatic reality.
This one can feel a little backwards, but it's where you find real freedom. Think of a tough emotion like a storm cloud. Instead of getting out there and trying to fight it, what if you just let it pass? Acknowledge it's there without judging it. Oh, there's that anger cloud again. When you stop fighting it, you'll be amazed at how much faster it just floats on by. Okay, on to our final section, part 3. This is all about the lifestyle habits that build that deep, underlying foundation of resilience. When you have these in place, everything else we've talked about becomes so much easier, because you're just naturally less reactive to begin with. Let's talk about a powerful trio of habits. Just 10 minutes of mindfulness a day is like doing push-ups for your focus muscle. A quick 10-minute walk can literally change your brain chemistry and boost your mood. And journaling? Think of it as a pressure release valve for your mind, a way to get all that chaotic junk out of your head and onto a piece of paper. I absolutely love this idea. Think about your inner peace as your actual home. It's your sanctuary. You wouldn't let just any random person barge in and start making a mess, right? So why do we let toxic people or draining situations have free access to our minds? Setting boundaries and being willing to say no isn't selfish. It's essential self-defense.
You know how you can walk into a room and just feel the tension? That's because emotions are contagious. If you're always surrounded by anxious, negative people, you can't help but soak that up. But guess what? The reverse is also true. Make a conscious choice to spend more time with calm, stable people, and you'll find that their stability starts to rub off on you.
So at the end of the day, this is what it all boils down to. Your mind is your greatest asset, your most powerful tool. And this isn't about ignoring your feelings or pretending they don't exist. It's about learning to guide them skillfully. Once you truly master your own inner world, there's no person, no situation, and no emotion that can ever truly break you.
Okay, now for the most important part. Because listening to all this is great, but knowledge without action is pretty much useless. So, of all the tools and techniques we just covered, I'm curious, which one are you going to put into practice first?